So, folks, we got to talk about the fact that Donald Trump's support has begun the process of collapse. And I say this because I have never seen overall support for anything that Donald Trump has done collapse in general below 30 points. And new polling came out of Pew Research today that is devastating might be the correct word for it. Like, it is really bad for Donald Trump. Specifically, he's sitting at a 37% approval to disapproval ratio, which, okay, that doesn't seem that far out of the norm. But when you get a little bit deeper into this, specifically, percentage of people who support all/most, some or few/none of Donald Trump's policies and plans. Only 27% of respondents support all or most of what Donald Trump is doing right now. We're at 27%. I have never seen numbers like that fall below 30. Like I haven't really seen that. And if it continues to drop, we're gonna be talking about like a collapse, like just like a bottoming out of support, just so like we're looking at just an unprecedented blowout of Donald Trump. And I just want to say, like, it's what I find important here is the prospect that if he does like fall out the bottom of his support and like it just collapses and fractures, there's no going back for him. Like that's it. Like, he has been coasting for about a decade on the goodwill of about like 35% solidly of the electorate, you know? It's really hard for his general approval rating to fall lower than that. But the fact that when you ask more specific questions at this point, they're saying, yeah, I don't really support everything he's doing. They're saying that more and more lately. And I don't see this getting better for him. He's trying to shake things up here in Minnesota by, swapping out Greg Bovino for Tom Homan. And like, both of them are like the dumbest guys imaginable, Tom Homan can barely spit a sentence out of his mouth, and like talks like a anthropomorphic dog with peanut butter in his mouth, like border, like that's him in a nutshell. Like, and he's just a hateful, inept individual. Like, he's only there because he's a yes man. And Greg Bovino, like, is just not very suited for television, I hear he likes taking bribes in a bag. He does like taking bribes in brown paper bags. It's true. That is Tom Homan in a nutshell. Yeah. None of this is going to turn around for the Trump administration. And they're also fighting an additional, very hard to combat situation, which is the illness Donald Trump is suffering from. Soup brain syndrome, where his brain slowly degenerates into a soup. Now, many experts are debating what kind of soup it is. It could be some kind of clam chowder situation, maybe a beef situation. It's a very serious condition. And I just have to say, he's not getting better.
12 months of unprecedented achievements. We really have. I mean, it's unprecedented. The numbers we've had on the economy and growth, you see them. And that's despite a Democrat shutdown. Without the shutdown, we would have picked up about 1.5 points more than already high numbers, record-setting numbers. So this has been, I think, and a lot of people say it, the most successful year of any administration in American history. First year, there's never been a first year like this, including the fact that we extinguished 8 wars, and another one we think is coming. Steve Witkoff's working very hard, and Jared and everybody else, and I think it's coming. 12.
What? What? Like, he's barely able to string these ideas together. He keeps forgetting the half war. I mean, he could be talking about any number of things, but it sounds like he's planning on starting another war. What happened to the half war? Who knows? Honestly, it is open to interpretation at this point. Like, we're shaking the bones. We're shaking the like, you know, I almost said lava lamp, the magic 8 ball, and just trying to discern his intentions. And like, there's nothing in there. It's just soup. He doesn't know what he's talking about anymore. Yeah, he really doesn't. He's lost the juice. He's gone. But not only that, just real quick, guys. Um, you know, how like Donald Trump launched an armed paramilitary group into Minnesota to fight fraud. You all remember how that's the narrative? Like, a dipshit YouTuber made a bad video and they all went gaga over it and sent a bunch of armed soldiers into Minnesota because there was fraud here. Well, fun fact, if you care about fraud and the use of our taxpayer money, you should perhaps be aware that Donald Trump has just filed a lawsuit against the IRS. Specifically, he's looking for $10 billion from the IRS. He is specifically looking to try and strong-arm $10 billion of our taxpayer money for his own personal coffers. And, yeah, it's nuts. President Donald J. Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and the Trump Organization versus Internal Revenue Service and U.S. Department of the Treasury. Yep. All right. President Donald J. Trump is the founder and former chief executive officer of the Trump Organization. President Trump served as the 45th president of the United States and is the 47th president of the United States. President Trump brings this suit in his personal capacity. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. From May 2019 through at least September 2020, former IRS employee Charles Chaz Littlejohn, who is jointly employed by the IRS and or one of its contractors, illegally obtained access to and disclosed plaintiffs' tax returns and return information to the New York Times, ProPublica, and other leftist media outlets. Defendants had a duty to safeguard and protect plaintiffs' confidential tax returns and unrelated tax return information from such unauthorized inspection and public disclosure. Accordingly, defendants were obligated to have appropriate technical employee screening, security, and monitoring systems to prevent Littlejohn's unlawful conduct. Basically, an employee of the IRS leaked information to news outlets, and in I guess retaliation, Donald Trump is suing the U.S. government for $10 billion. Oh boy, super cool. That's, I think that this is all going to go over really well if people point, if some folks point out that, like, hey, Trump supporters, your tax dollars are going to pay off this man. Because I guarantee you what's going to happen is that Donald Trump is going to bring this lawsuit for $10 billion and then settle it out of court with the DOJ that he personally controls. And the settlement is going to be undisclosed and for a colossal amount of money. They aren't even going to have to, like, fight this in court at all. I'm suing the IRS for a cool 100 mil, same reasons. Yeah, I mean, get in line, everyone. Just sue the IRS. They'll pay your bills. Maybe this is how we get universal basic income. Maybe this is how we get, like, Medicare for all. You just sue the IRS, and wham bam, you got your medical bills paid for. What an innovative technique that Donald Trump has invented. I take it all back. What a visionary. No soup brain syndrome for Donald Trump. He's paving the way for us to get Medicare for all. Oh my god, it's brilliant. It's so shrimple, indeed. Holy shit, this man gave government agencies private government info to Elon Musk, etc., as payment for his election help. Now he wants to sue the IRS for not keeping his info private. Yeah, can we sue the United States government for not protecting our social security information? Can we sue the US government for $10 billion a pop? Whatever. We'll find out. What an interesting time we live in. Anyway, let's hope that things continue to worsen for Trump's support, which I don't think we have to hope for that. I think the rest of this stream will show you that, in fact, his support is not going to go up. So, anyway, if you found any of this interesting, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. And folks, leave a comment longer than 8 words if you feel inclined. Organize, organize, organize. Join your local Dems. Join your local DSA. Folks, we got to do it. We got to show up to the meetings. And last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Tested on cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is non-tucking lingerie. And more colors, more styles, more sizes coming in the near future. So check it out. ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the description. And let's keep on going, folks. I stopped 8 wars by not starting them. Yeah, I actually stopped an infinite number of wars by simply not being at war.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.